Wide on the wabash, how I long for my Indiana home.
And now for the most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engine!
Right on the tail of Pato Andretti! Can a teenager win in Indianapolis? Here's the finish. Sam Hornish Jr. makes the pass. He'll win it. Sam Hornish Jr.
It's not a tour de force. It's a tour de pin.
I tell him what it is. Danny Sullivan gets him. Danny Sullivan gets him down. No, he's swirling. No, he's spinning. Danny Sullivan spins. But he goes around twice and gathers it in.
Absolutely incredible. Danny Sullivan headed for victory lane in Indianapolis.
Our twin checkered flag in the air. It's a battle at the start-finish line. And Joseph Newgarden will win the Indianapolis 500-mile race. Davey Hamilton, he finally gets the buggy off him, but the pass makes it stick. Joseph Newgarden goes back-to-back, wins the 108th running of the Indianapolis 500-mile race.
What a day in the world of the Indianapolis 500. We are about an hour and 30 minutes late from when I originally wanted to actually start this podcast. The guest that we were going to have on had to reschedule for May 20th. So if you got any questions for our interviewer on May 20th, please add those in the poll below, and I will be happy to give those questions to my good friend Luke Leahy about business in Indianapolis during the week of the Indy 500. We welcome you to another podcast episode of the Indianapolis 500 podcast of Board Warder Productions. My name is Braden Bear-Lents, and if you can just please give us a subscription of the ontheedge.com website. We're going to probably have another website coming out soon. So we want you to be as involved as you can and be as nice as you can. And go visit ontheedge.com. There will be more articles coming out in the next few weeks. I plan to make more articles and more newsletters coming out in the later weeks. And you can also subscribe to the Braden 98.5 FMW BRA YouTube channel and subscribe for more videos there. So, yes, what a day. And day one of the Indianapolis 500 was today. It seemed as if it was a smooth practice all the way around. There were a few accidents, I think a few, more rain than anything. Way more rain than anything. And that's going to be a damper throughout the rest of the week, because if the Indianapolis 500 didn't have rain in the month of May, I don't know where you'd be at. I mean, especially now with 3 or 4 storm systems coming through the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Of course, practice was interrupted 2 or 3 times today. But there were some big news, especially the biggest news being Kyle Busch will not race in this year's Indianapolis 500. The race team that was going to sponsor them initially was going to have Kyle Busch run in the Indy 500, but now they have backed out of that. And it says in some articles that he's prepping for the Indianapolis 500, but it has been confirmed that Kyle Larson will be racing in the Indy 500 and not Kyle Busch today. And so I just wanted to make that very clear, that it is a awesome opportunity for these guys to begin racing again. It feels so good to see the drivers back at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There was a lot of crazy shenanigans that happened today, and we're going to post some of that later on in separate videos posted on my YouTube channel, including a full day summary of what all happened today, including Pato O'Ward not knowing where his helmet was at. Isn't that nuts? He had to call one of his race team members and try to get them to really just be like, hey, give me a helmet somehow, some way. We can't be on the track without that. But other than that, I mean, Will Power will be leading most of the qualifying, or most of the practice laps for today, as he has the fastest time of 227.026 miles an hour. Next to him was defending champion, back-to-back champion Joseph Newgarden. He might make history. If he ever does, it'd be amazing. The first time ever that a driver's won 3 straight Indianapolis 500s. So then after Will Power, Joseph Newgarden, there's Alex Palou, Scott Dixon, Scott McLaughlin at 5th, Helio Castroneves at 6th, Alexander Rossi at 7th, Marcus Armstrong at 8th, Marcus Ericsson at 9th, Marco Andretti, who's got an amazing card this year, bringing back the old number 26 that he used to run back when he was racing full-time at Andretti Motorsports. He is going to be a 10th. He could be a clear favorite to win the 500 this year. But there's so much other competitions. We'll get to a full prediction in the near future. Christian Rasmussen at number 11. David Malakis, who wrecked at the Grand Prix, at number 12. Jack Harvey was at 13th. Ryan Hunter-Reay at 14th. Ed Carpenter 15th. Colton Hura 16th. Stingray Robb 17th. Felix Rosenquist 18th. Kyle Kirkwood 19th, Nolan Siegel 20th, Indiana native Connor Daly 21st, Kiffin Simpson at 22nd, Christian Lundgaard 23rd, Kyle Larson at 24th, Delvin DeFrancesco at 25th, Graham Rahal at 26th, Santino Ferrucci at 27th, Jacob Abel at 28th, Pato O'Ward 29th, Luis Foster 30th, Takuma Sato 31st, Reyes VK 32nd, and wrapping up the list is Robert Schwartzman at 33rd, and Coleman Elot at 34th. So that is the Indianapolis 500 Day 1 practice session leaderboard. Now, we have some amazing opportunities for drivers to really push ahead in these practice laps. There's going to be practice today, and then from the practice being today, pole day will be anywhere. I think it did say that pole day is coming on, so it's going to be practice again tomorrow, practice Thursday, fast Friday. That's where you get your laps in to try and place and seed yourself with the rest of the pairing on pole day. So quals are going to be on Saturday and Sunday, with another practice being on Monday. Of course, quals on the 17th, which is the Saturday, is pole day. 18th is bump day. 19th will be practice. And then they'll have 3 days of no activity until carb day. But the big thing that we're going to be focusing on is the practices. We're not in the Fast Friday for this week. Of course, tickets are still available for the practice sessions and qualifying sessions, because those don't fill as quick as the race day traffic. And so the big thing that was a big factor today, there was rain. Why not? More rain in the mid-afternoon. And it lasted for 3 hours as, of course, we here in southern Indiana were also getting rain. But I will tell you that the rain systems are going to be very comprehensive as the weeks go on. We're going to have... Actually, we're going to have a lot of rain going into the 22nd and the 23rd, and then that should be it for the systems. It might actually be a calm race day on the 25th, but we'll have to wait and see on that. It did say as one of the other big things, besides Pato O'Ward losing his helmet, that was huge today. That was probably the biggest headline besides the actual weather itself. Besides the weather itself, it was a pretty calm practice. Rain was everywhere, and yeah, you can really find a lot of good in the practices, especially for drivers that may not run in contention for the race. And let me tell you this, I don't think it was a good practice at all for Schwartzman or for Sato. Pato O'Ward, it's not his fault. He lost his helmet. No fault of anybody's own. And so, of course, if he didn't lose the helmet, he probably would have been a contingent in the Indianapolis 500. But another thing the Indy Star also reported on was actually the no-toe laps today. No-toe laps are, according to down here, those turned without the benefit of a aerodynamic pull from a driver ahead of him. No-toe speed is more important for qualifying, scheduled for Saturday and Sunday to round out the pole's position. So in terms of that, the fastest no-toe laps, I forgot to mention this, for today, May 13th of 2025, were Kyle Kirkwood at 219.497 seconds, Joseph Newgarden at second, Jacob Abel at third, Connor Daly at fourth, Alexander Rossi at fifth, Scott McLaughlin at sixth, Pato Ward at seventh, Kiffin Simpson eighth, Helio Castroneves ninth, Luis Foster 10th, Takuma Sato 11th, Graham Rahal 12th, Kyle Larson 13th, Ed Carpenter 14th, Alex Palou 15th, David Malakis 16th, Scott Dixon 17th, Christian Lundgaard 18th, Marcus Armstrong 19th, Felix Rosenquist 20th, Christian Rasmussen 21st, Devlin DeFrancisco 22nd, Marcus Ericsson 23rd, Ryan Hunter-Reay 24th, Will Power 25th, Jack Harvey 26th, Colton Herta 27th, Santino Ferrucci 28th, Nolan Siegel 29th, Callum Alott 30th, Robert Schwartzman 31st, Rinus VeeKay 32nd, and Marco Andretti round out the list for 33rd. And Stingray Rob had no toe laps. That's kind of a tongue twister. No toe laps. Should say no new toe laps, which of course was the case. And of course this practice was good on that. I mean, it brought a lot of traction, and with the rain being delayed, it made the track very, very slippery. So we also got the chance to see some really nice car designs, especially this is sort of the like NFL schedule review or schedule release for a lot of these drivers. And of course, they did say that drivers, it actually updated. The drivers that will be running tomorrow are going to be listed from numbers 1 to 34. But of course, it's a big deal to reveal your cars and see where you're going to go from there and wonder where you're going to be at. And of course, they were commemorating Dan Weldon throughout the broadcast today, which I thought was really nice, especially from the racetrack's end and Fox's end, because this is a historic 500 regardless of what happens. But the 2005 Indianapolis 500 was a huge race. And just seeing the cars back then compared to now are a lot different. But of course, Dan Weldon, if it wasn't for him, his 05 championship, like I mentioned in one other episode, it was not known very well. And of course, it was very up in the air, sort of. And it was up in the air to see if he was going to run again in 2011, but he did, and he made history in the process. So we're excited for tomorrow. Very excited, as long as that rain doesn't come through here. But there unfortunately will be rain Wednesday and Thursday in Indiana. There will also be rain on the 22nd, possibly, so the day before Carb Day and all that. And like I mentioned, we could have a really calm Indianapolis 500, where last year it was so bad you couldn't even get from one part of the track to the next. And it was just bad. It was a horrible experience going to that early day of the race. That was worse than the actual race itself. The race itself was great. I love the race itself. But other than that, it was just the first half of it with the rain pouring in Indy. Basically, they should not ever have an event like that where the Motor Speedway is going to put fans at risk. If they put fans at risk again, there could be legit lawsuits, which they'll win. But it shows you that the track really does not care about humans, especially after last year. They were going to have that 500 ever. If they were going to have it Monday, they were going to have it Monday. If they were going to have it Sunday, they were going to have it Sunday. That was my biggest problem with the 2024 race. Almost had the opportunity to go to the 500, which was, I will say, a bad experience because we had to leave early, and it wasn't a great experience at all for me or for anyone around me. And of course, with the pacer traffic too, that may jog a little bit on because the Indiana Pacers could be making a run tonight for the Eastern Conference Finals, and that may backlog traffic a lot for the Indianapolis 500 weekend. So hopefully, if we play the Knicks or we play the Celtics, the traffic isn't going to be much of an issue in Indianapolis, but it could be, especially in that central part. And so, like 2024 was just a horrible year for weather, and this year's been even worse. But I will say the weather hasn't cooperated very well. We were actually in a tornado a few weeks ago, back in March, and I thought if they're going to run the race in weather like that, there's no way we're going. So hopefully it's a calm Indianapolis 500. Hopefully there's not a lot of distractions that can tamper the race itself. And it should be a fun event for anyone that does go, for even myself. Yeah, we're going to probably cover the race from home again and see about going next year. But I'll cover the race at home, guys. Don't worry. It's just costs and all that. Trying to grow the brand, trying to grow me, trying to graduate from school. There was almost no time for me to go to the 500 this year. But I have been a few times, and it's been fun. And so don't be like, oh well, I haven't gone ever. No, it's not that. It's just last year was a bad year for it, especially with the rain and everything. And then this year we're hoping it could be calmer conditions. But with it being the 110th Indianapolis 500 next year, it just rings a bell for us. And I start work pretty soon, and we'll host this podcast on the side. So it should be really fun to be doing that kind of stuff and talking to more people. And so, and even bringing up IndyCar and the Indy 500. That is all of the headlines I have today for practice. It was calm to say the least. All 34 drivers logged well over 1,549 laps, with one driver only logging 75. So it was an active day, especially for the track. And other than that, I mean, there really isn't much else to talk about with this practice besides the crazy moments from Pato Award and more race coverage. And the whole weekend's just going to be filled with stuff. One other, I might actually save that for the next podcast, but I did want to mention that there are scams going out right now, and they are warning people that do go to the 500 to watch out for scams, especially how to stay safe from scams, which I might just bring this up on this podcast. Basically, according to Wish TV8, there are now some new scammers that are getting smart, and they're wanting to sell you tickets and parking passes and fake IDs and everything else. So one of the track advisors, actually the Indiana Attorney General, Todd Rokita, did mention to purchase items directly from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway whenever possible. Consider the source you're going to be buying tickets from. Know the refund policy at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That link will be down in the description below later. And you should only purchase tickets from a ticket reseller that provides clear details about the safety of the transaction. Use payment methods that come with protection. Use credit cards, that sort of stuff. And if many of you know this, I'm sorry. I just want to let other people who may have never been to the Indianapolis 500 before know about this. Call ahead and confirm hotel reservations. Check the reviews for the hotels. That's the most important part. And look for signs like prices that seem a little too low or a little too high. Get confirmations on reservations, tickets via email and text. And be very wary of online accounts that do not use multi-factor authorization. So that is a good point. Stay away from scammers. If you want to go to the 500, stay away from scammers. That's all I have to say. And yeah, that's basically today's episode. Thank you all so much for listening to the Indianapolis 500 podcast, a Borg Warner production, Remember that we will have a guest on next Tuesday, a week from today, the 20th. So we're going to be asking Luke Leahy some questions. If you guys have any, please let me know or comment on this video on YouTube, on Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, or just DM to me. DM the questions to me at my Instagram page. So thank you all so much. Have a great day and start your engines. The Indianapolis 500 is near and far. It is coming. Get ready for it and go.